Formula 1 and Formula E seem so similar yet so different. Formula 1 originated in 1950 and has become one of the world's fastest, expensive and technologically advanced motorsports, whereas Formula E only originated in 2014 and is seen as a proving ground for electric car technology. But how do they compare? Watch this video to find out. Let's start by comparing the cars. Formula 1 cars have 1.6-litre turbocharged V6 engines coupled with a hybrid system. The hybrid system has two motor generator units that recover heat and kinetic energy. The power unit as a whole produces around 1000 horsepower, with the engine producing about 850 and the motor generator unit producing around 150. They also produce around 680 Nm of torque and can rev to 15,000 RPM with their 8-speed semi-automatic gearboxes. Formula 1 cars have a minimum weight of 734 kilograms. This is an increase from last year in order to accommodate the new Halo safety device. Now let's move on to Formula E cars. They have 28 kilowatt-hour batteries and they produce 274 horsepower and 140 Nm of torque. Unlike Formula 1 cars, Formula E cars produce their torque instantly. They can also rev to 17,500 RPM with their 5-speed sequential gearboxes. Formula E cars have a minimum weight of 800 kilograms. Over the course of the season, F1 cars can only go through 3 of each part in the power unit. Otherwise, the driver will incur grid penalties. For example, if the car needs a 4th part and the driver has qualified 5th in the race, it will drop him down to 15th on the grid. That driver will then start the race in 15th position. Formula 1 cars are also highly dependent on aerodynamics. They produce loads of downforce to help them in corners, as the car will have more grip if there is more force pushing down on it. This hinders straight line speed. To counter this, Formula 1 cars have a feature called DRS, or drag reduction system, that reduces downforce and increases straight line speed. It does this by opening a flap if a car is within 1 second of the car ahead. Formula E is much less dependent on aerodynamics. This is visible in the car's simpler wings and spoilers. To aid straight line speed in Formula E, the cars have a feature called Fan Boost. Before the race, fans can vote for their 3 favorite drivers on social media and give them a boost of energy that they can use during the race. Now let's look at the venues the cars race at and the procedures of the race weekend. Formula E cars race on small street circuits in city centres. The circuits are only around 2 kilometers in length, so the cars can only reach around 140 miles an hour or 225 kilometers an hour. They can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles an hour in around 3 seconds. Formula 1 cars race around custom-built racetracks that are around 5 to 8 kilometers long. They also race on some larger street circuits. During races, the cars can reach up to 220 miles an hour or 355 kilometers an hour, and they can also go to 60 miles an hour in under 2 seconds. Formula 1 takes place over 3 days, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. On Friday, there are 2 practice sessions where teams test the cars with timed runs. On Saturday, there is a 3rd practice session which is followed by qualifying. Qualifying is split up into 3 sessions where the slowest drivers get eliminated. On Sunday, there is the race that lasts 2 hours. Cars are allowed 105 kilograms of fuel and refueling is not allowed during the race. Tyres play a big part in the race. You have to make a pit stop to change tyres and they don't last the entire race. Some cars can even pit more than 3 times. There are 6 compounds to choose from. The softer the compound, the more grip it will offer, but the faster it will wear out. There is also an intermediate tyre for damp conditions and a wet tyre for rain. You have a selection of 3 compounds at each race. The type of compound available depends on the nature of the circuit. Pit stops last from 2 to 4 seconds. Formula E takes place over only 1 day, Sunday. There are 2 practice sessions in the morning followed by qualifying. Qualifying splits its drivers into 4 groups of 5. They all complete to set the fastest lap. Then finally, it's the race. It lasts for 50 minutes. During the race, all drivers have to make 1 pit stop. no more and no less. During pit stops, they don't change tyres, they only swap cars because they don't have enough energy to finish the race. There is only one tyre, a treaded all-weather tyre unlike the soft slick tyres of F1. The pit stops take 45 seconds. Both sports use the FIA's standard point scoring system that awards points to only the top 10 drivers. There are 10 teams with 2 drivers in both sports, but budgeting is very different. The top teams in Formula 1 have a budget of around 450 million euros per year, and the top teams in Formula E have a budget of only 20 million euros per year. That was my comparison. Which sport do you prefer? Comment below.